This week on Another Movie Podcast, we give you the reactions for the first Thor screening.
And it looks like the Hulk could be getting a trilogy, maybe?
And they've finally set a date for Channing Tatum's Gambit. Hello and welcome back to Not Another Movie Podcast. I am Sean Pierce.
And I am Sean Kelly.
And we apologise for the other break between shows last week. I had, actually, just at the top of the show, I just want to mention the passing of my grandmother. She was, that happened last week, hence why we didn't do the show. She was 84 years old, and like myself, she loved movies. Her and her friends, it's a really good story, actually. Her and her friends have known each other for 60 years, and they're all in their 80s, one's in their 90s, and every week they still go to the movies each week. And I'd often call her because we'd often see the same movie that week, and she'd always have the same response. Jeepers, the language in this film. My grandmother comes from a different time where swearing isn't as predominant as it is now, and even if the movie had one swear word in it, that was enough for her to set her off. And I've always got one funny memory. Late last year, or was it this year? She went and watched that movie Why Him with James Franco. And this movie is like filthy. It's swearing, sexual references all the time. She didn't know what she was getting in for when she went and watched the movie. And I called her up. I said, "Hey, Nan, how you going?" She goes, "Oh, Sean, I've just seen the worst movie I've ever seen in my life." And I had already seen it that week. And I was just like, I said to her, "Please tell me you did not go watch Why Him." And she goes, "Yes, exactly what you want." And the idea, because she will never leave a movie halfway. She'll always stay to the end.
Respect.
And the fact that my poor grandmother had to sit there through all these dick and fart jokes and horrendous swearing always puts a smile on my face. So she could see that the funny side of it, but she would have definitely hated that hour and a half that she was there. So valet to my grandmother.
Yeah, well done.
And some other big news this week. You turned 45 this week.
I did. Thank you very much. I look kind of old for a 45-year-old, but that's all right. All the drugs and smoking. No, yeah, I had my birthday this week, 33. Yeah, I had to actually remember on my birthday how old I was, which is a bit of a worry. I think
it's strange. Even now, I'm like, am I 36 or 37?
Yeah. Oh, that's a bit sad, isn't it? But
I think once you get past a certain point, you're kind of like, who cares?
Exactly right. I certainly don't. But I got the great present of parent-teacher interviews.
Oh, nice.
Teacher, so I got to sit there and talk with parents about their kids until past 8 o'clock. So that was good. It was a good birthday. I don't mind them, but yeah, it could have been a different day. But I got a couple of
good to be king.
It is good to be king. I did pick up the new Labyrinth board game, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
At least that's something.
Exactly right. To stave away the darkness and madness of teaching.
Yes. All right, well, let's kick into the movie news, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
All right, this week has been a massive week for trailers. We haven't had trailers for a long time, and all of a sudden it just went bang, and we got 5, semi-decent ones.
They knew we were coming back for the show, so they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Out now.
Yeah, Sean's back this week, or the Sean's are back this week. Let's get them out.
Exactly.
All right, the first one that started the week off was Pacific Rim 2. Now, I got to say, I fucking hate this trailer so much. This movie just looks horrible. This Pacific Rim was awesome. I really loved it. Even though the reviews weren't that great and the box office return wasn't that good, I still enjoyed this movie. But this just looks like they've matched the Power Rangers and Transformers and put them into one movie. It looks nothing like the first one.
Yeah, it does look a lot brighter, a lot more of a conventional world, I think.
And the fact that they've got like a team of robots now that are going to go out and fight monsters, as I said, it just looked like the Power Rangers and the Terminators had sex. And this is what the movie, this is what the baby looked like.
That'd be very awkward. I just like, do all the Power Rangers look into Optimus Prime's eyes as they're going at it, or just the Red Ranger?
I'm calling it early. I'm putting it on my 2018 turd list already.
It's interesting because even friends I know who loved Pacific Rim 1, like just absolutely adored it, are really reticent to have their hopes up about this movie.
Yeah, it does not look good. As I said, I love the dark neon tones that we saw in the first one, and this one just looks like I don't like it at all. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So it's a wait and see on that one. But for me, I didn't like it. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm of the same bent, to be honest. I didn't have quite a strong reaction to it because, I liked the first one, but I kind of just very much took it as popcorn fare anyway. But and this one just looks like it's kind of in the same. I'm interested to see the Jaegers fighting each other, and I wonder if that will be some kind of real schism or just some like war games or something like that. But I don't know. I could definitely watch a movie about giant robots fighting each other, so that's good.
Yeah, well, we'll soon find out.
Yeah.
The other one that dropped, and it was a big one, and that was the Justice League trailer. The movie comes out next month, which I'm really excited about, and I'm actually really more excited now after this trailer. We spoke about when the last one dropped, it was a bit lackluster, I thought, a bit CG heavy. Well, this one still is CG heavy. You know, it really started off with a nice emotional tone with Lois Lane thinking back about Clark.
The bait switch to Superman.
Exactly. You know, he's a big hairy chest out, which was always good to see. Yeah, he's quite hairy.
Kryptonian chest hair.
Yeah. But then the trailer, it didn't give away anything, which is what I'm loving. Like when we talked about the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, we basically saw all three acts in that trailer. Where this one here, they haven't really given away too much of the story, nor have they given away what the structure of the film is, and that's what I'm really happy about.
Of course, the danger there is that there is no structure and there is no story.
Well, it's true. It is a DC film.
You can't give away what's not there.
Exactly. There is a very big chance of that. But, you know, they gave away the 3-act structure in Batman v Superman trailer, where this one they've kind of pulled the reins back in, which I'm quite happy about.
And they did make another, it's the latest in a long line of great music choices for trailers with heroes.
Yeah, no, it was. So I'm really excited now for this film. You know, hopefully everything is back on track at the DC universe, and this is going to be a knockout.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I'm the same. I was look. There's a part of me that's really like, don't get your hopes up. It's like going back to your ex who's been mean to you a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And your heart just says, your mind is saying, don't do it, but your heart really just wants it to be good. Wants it to be like it was when you watch the old, 90s Batman cartoons. Yeah. So look, this trailer got me the most hyped out of any. I love that they're like really doubling down on Wonder Woman's slide across the floor and kick people move. Like that's her thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and we spoke about that Cyborg didn't look that great in previous trailers, but this one now he looked really good. So maybe the CG wasn't ready for those other previous ones, but he looks really good. Ezra Miller still looks like he's going to be the funny man of this film. Yeah. And possibly Aquaman might be, a big part of this film as well. By the looks of it, he could be, probably the big hero of the film. So, that's only my gauge from the trailers. Who knows?
Look, you never would have thought you would say, like, Aquaman, yeah, he's the big hero of this film.
Correct. They're probably going to put that stigma to bed, I think, with this film.
So, yeah.
Yes. The next massive one, and again, didn't really give away anything from the film story-wise, was the new Star Wars trailer. The last.
I thought it gave away heaps.
No, well, this is the thing. I don't think what we saw is part of the film. I think it's just some very good editing going on, and a little bit of sleight of hand in that trailer to make us think it's going to be one thing, and then it's actually going to be another.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're talking about the scene between Kylo Ren possibly shooting down his mum.
Yeah.
Princess Leia.
That's one of them, absolutely. And look, yeah, you're absolutely right. It could be two completely different things.
And I'm guessing you're talking about the Kylo Ren putting his hand out to Rey at the end of the film for her to possibly join the dark side. Is that what you...
Yeah, I thought they could be...
That one especially, it looks like two different scenes. It's two different backgrounds.
Maybe I'm just easily gullible to these marketers.
I'm not falling for that one.
Yeah.
The last one, fair enough, possibly, but I don't think that they would give away that big reveal that Kylo Ren's going to take out his mum. I don't see that happening.
Well, I don't think, even if that was set up as it is in the film, I would love it if that isn't what happened.
Yeah, I think she would have a lot more graceful exit than being blown up, to be honest.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I love all the theories that are kicking about at the moment about, Kylo and Ren are going to switch places, and that was a theory that was kicking around from the first one. So, and I would love it if that happened. That would be cool.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool. And the visuals of this film just look spectacular.
They do.
How about those big AT-ATs that have got like their hands are like hunched?
Yeah, they're like apes.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if they can like climb things now.
Ooh, that'd be
I don't
cool.
know, but that visual looked amazing. Then you've got obviously all the dogfights that are happening in space, and then we're introduced to those fucking porgs. I don't know what they are.
The penguins.
That penguin Chewbacca thing.
Yeah.
That's possibly. I hope that's not the new Han Solo, and
Oh gosh.
poor Chewie's flying around in the Millennium Falcon with a porg by his side.
I have a theory that that's actually a Chewbacca. That's actually a Wookiee child. That's what they look like.
That could be interesting.
Chewie is actually female all this
Yeah.
time, and the loss of Han made him reproduce. So that's my theory. Look, you probably won't see it on any of the forums, but mark my words, when the film comes out, you'll see.
You will be standard corrected.
Exactly right.
I told you so. And obviously we've got Luke Skywalker more predominant in this
Yes.
trailer.
Actually saying stuff.
Yes, and we're going to see hopefully more of the flashback that we saw from Episode 7 where Kylo burns down that temple and R2 and Luke were there to see it, and looks like he was, possibly under some of that temple as well
Yeah.
that got crushed. So we're going to see more of that.
Well,
we're going to see
just
some
on
awesome
that, just quickly.
lightsaber action.
Yes, I'm excited about that. One person's theory is that it's not actually Kylo who destroyed the temple. It was Rey, and then so Luke stopped her after she did the destroying, but couldn't kill her because he couldn't bring himself to do it. So he wiped her mind and put her on Jakku.
Oh, wow.
And now
That
he's
is an
gonna-
interesting theory.
Now that she's come back to him, he's gonna have another go to try to
Train her the right way.
Yeah.
That's cool. That would be really cool. I like that.
I know that's the idea, because like all you see you see Kylo Ren standing there amongst the carnage in the first one, but you don't see him doing any of it.
Yeah.
And the lightsaber that called to Rey, she's got some kind of connection, like she's had that before. I don't know. I think there's something there.
I like it. I like that theory. And the good thing is we've only got 2 months to find out. This is what's so good
Exactly.
about it. And they said that was the last trailer, hopefully.
Good.
So, I don't want to see any more. That's it now.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously we saw Snoke as a man rather than the hologram. And he's doing some weird shit to Rey. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But that looked really cool. But as I said, I didn't like the first trailer. And I said that on the show. I thought it was a bit, what would you say? It was a lot of hype for not much, but
Yep.
this trailer looked really good. I'm really excited for this one. And here's some interesting stats for you, is that I would have thought this would have been the trailer that blows everything out of the water in terms of views, but it actually wasn't. It's actually come in fourth in its first 24 hours behind Thor Ragnarok, The Fate of the Furious, and it still holds the title for the most downloaded view or most views in 24 hours, 197 million.
That's a hell of a lot of views.
Yeah, compared to Star Wars, which only got 129, which is quite funny.
Well, the irony here is that Star Wars is now the franchise which isn't as anticipated because people know they're getting so much of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely played into it. Plus,
Still,
people like horror.
This is Star Wars.
It is. Look, I've got nothing for you. I'm actually surprised that this got more views than the first one, the last Star Wars film.
Yeah, this is true.
So
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's at least on an upward trend.
Yes. All right, well, another trailer dropped this morning, actually, or probably late last night in the US, and I don't know what to make of it, to be honest, and that's the new Mutants trailer.
Yeah.
Is this an X-Men film, or is this a horror film? I don't know what to make of it.
Well, I'm hoping they're kind of thinking about using the X-Men kind of like what the MCU have been doing and making different genres within, the universe that they have. And this is like their horror film set in the New Mutants, set in the world of the mutants.
Well, I've never followed the New Mutant storyline, so, there could be stuff that I'm completely missing and going straight over my head. But, as you said, they could be just approaching this in a different angle rather than just giving us the same film all the time. They're going to throw in different genres, like you just said. And, the cast looks really good. We've got Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. We've got one of the kids from Stranger Things again. And we've got another actress. I can't remember what her name is, but she was in the movie The Witch. And this young girl is going to be huge, I reckon, in the next 5 to 10 years because she's got serious acting chops. Whether that comes through in this film, we'll soon find out. But it was interesting. It looks like just mutants in a haunted house.
Yeah, basically, like a mental asylum, and
Yes.
yeah, there'll be a lot, I'm sure there'll be a lot of what's fake and what's real. And when you think about it, it's kind of like the best. It's such a cool idea because it's definitely what would happen when people tried to, cure these mutants. They will basically torture them.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what time frame it actually takes place in, or
That's
what.
true.
So, it didn't look like it was, set in say the '60s, for example, like that TV show Legion is. So yeah, it's going to be one to watch. As I said, I wasn't necessarily a big fan of the trailer, but that's because it looks so different to what I was expecting. So
Yeah, exactly right.
yeah.
Oh, we'll wait
But
and
one,
see.
yeah, but one trailer I did love, and I'm guessing you love too, and we've only got 2 weeks before the show comes out, and that is Stranger Things Season 2.
Yeah, it does look good, but I'm a bit sad I watched it, to be honest,
Why?
because there's a lot of stuff in there,
Nah,
particularly
it's a lot of quick cuts.
Yeah, but some of the visuals I wish I did. I wish I saw them the first time in their place within the series. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go for those who haven't seen it, but some of the shots of the tentacle beasts that we sort of just got a flash of in previous ones, we saw a lot more of. It's not story stuff; it's just the visuals.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I'm actually surprised that we got a trailer 2 weeks out. I would have been happy with the last Thriller trailer that we got. I don't think they really should have given us another one, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. We didn't need it.
We're hyped enough.
Yeah, that's right. But we finally got to see Eleven again.
Yes.
She got her hair back. She's got some wicked curls going on. We also got to see a lot of visuals. Yeah, maybe now that you're saying it, I'm kind of agreeing with you that we didn't really need to see. But it was put into a lot of quick cuts as well. So,
Yeah.
but don't forget, this isn't a 2-hour film that we're watching. This is going to be a 10-hour story that we're seeing. So
That's
you've only
true.
seen 2 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's true. I do wonder why they took. What was the boy's name who was lost in the thing last season?
Will.
Will. Yeah, I do wonder why they took Will back to that facility to get tested on. That was probably a poor move, but leads to a good story.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure the Duffer Brothers have got it all worked out.
Yeah, they're pretty switched on.
I think I was reading somewhere that they've got like a 5-season arc.
Gosh.
Or- I think they had it down for 4, but they possibly could bring it out to 5. I think that's what I heard. So
I hope they don't jump the shark with it.
no, I don't think so. They seem pretty switched on.
Yeah.
But then again, season 2 could be a complete flop for all we know. So,
Knock wood, knock wood.
yeah, so we'll soon find out. All right, one film that I know I'm really excited for, and I'm guessing you're quite excited for
yeah.
too, and it comes out in 2 weeks' time, and that is Thor Ragnarok.
I watched this trailer 3 times last night. That's how psyched I am.
It is damn cool. It's a really good trailer. And even more exciting now is that Disney and Marvel have so much confidence in this film that they're letting social media embargo has been lifted, and that the reviewers who have seen the film can give a quick update on Twitter in regards to what they thought of the film. And so far, all the Twitterverse has been praising, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, which is awesome. Like, seems to be universal at the moment.
Yes. The main themes coming out of this film is that it is a hell of a lot of fun, and it's the funniest film in the MCU so far. And that the character Valerie, who is played by Tessa Thompson, is the
Valkyrie,
standout of this film.
Yeah. Like, all the characters are getting props, but the fact that Valkyrie is getting specific props, I think, is really good. A new character up against two of, I think, this is a funny thing to say, but two of the characters with the most character in the MCU, Thor and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. So that's, to have her stand out is pretty impressive.
And don't forget Loki. Loki usually steals every scene that he's in.
That's
so
true.
for her to be the standout of this film, could be really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so just a quick one. This guy, Eric Eisenberg from Cinema Blend. Thor Ragnarok is a ton of fun, self-contained MCU plot. The character work is awesome, and the adventure is a thrill. The best of the Thor movies so far, which isn't saying much, because I reckon the Thor films have probably been the lowest point of the MCU so far. Hulk is once again the scene stealer, and there is a lot that he can finally talk. Great to see him back on the big screen.
I'm excited. That was a good choice by the producers to have Thor actually have a personality.
Yeah, and speaking of Hulk, they're talking about giving him a 3-story arc, which begins in this film.
Yeah, so not giving him movies. They're just saying between this and the next 2 Avengers films, there's a Hulk story that goes through those. So hopefully that doesn't mean at the end of the second Avengers film that his arc is over along with his life. That would be sad. But yeah, it just means that he's going to actually have a story rather than just being the muscle who shows up and busts face.
Yeah, that's right. Mark Ruffalo came out this week and said, so basically Kevin Feige pulled me aside and he says, if we were going to do a standalone Hulk film, what would you want? And he said, I'd like this, this, and this. And he goes, I love that. Why don't we do that in the next 3 films, starting with Thor 3 and then go into Avengers 3 and 4? Because Universal still owns the rights for Thor, so he can't have his own standout films, but doesn't mean they can't use him in the Marvel Universe. And I think it's a really good idea that he can have this story that you would probably have in his own film, but put it in part of the next 3 films. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's no. We've said before that the Hulk's weakness is those standalone films anyway. Can he carry a film all by himself? So to put him in with the posse is probably the right way to go. And they've proven time and again that even in big cast films, the MCU producers can give everyone their time to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way the Russo brothers have been doing it in the Captain America films so far, he's in the best hands that they could possibly do it.
I'm excited.
Like, even when you think about, they had to introduce Spider-Man, who was one of the biggest characters in the MCU, and put it into a Captain America film and let him have his own moment to shine. These guys can do whatever they want, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not anything. Like, don't come around to my house and, eat my shit. But make all the films that you want, and I'll definitely pay out money and come over and see them.
I'm sure if we went back to when we did the review for Captain America Civil War, you pretty much said you can have anything you want, including the shit from your house.
Well, yeah, there's probably very little I would have given at that time. I probably should have been wearing pants. All right.
Yeah. Well, Thor Ragnarok is on track to open at over $100 million, which is pretty crazy considering that the previous 2 films have only opened up at 65 and 85, so that's so much the hype for this film.
I'm definitely going to be there opening day.
Yeah, so am I. My wife wants to watch it with me, so I'm like, crap, I can't go opening day, so I'm going to have to work out when we can. But no, I'm more than happy for her to come if she's listening to this. Yeah.
I bear no ill will to my wife for making me miss the opening day of Thor.
Yeah, that's right. So with all the press and all the screenings and everything else that's happening for Thor, Kevin Feige come out and said that what's happening from Phase 4 and what's next. And he basically said that the films that they're working on now, which is just taking us through to the final Avengers film, is that they really focus on closing this 22-movie story arc and closing it in a satisfying way. Now, I don't know how you're going to close it in a satisfying way because, from everything that's coming out is that we are going to lose a lot of characters out of the story, and the story is going to go in a different direction. I wonder if they're going to take out Thanos, because if they're going to go into this cosmic realm in Phase 4 that they're talking about, you would like to have this over-presence over that story arc, and Thanos is big enough to be that presence. So I hope they don't take him out in that second film.
No, I completely agree. I think they should just beat him back, which is like Thanos doesn't die. That's not what he does. He's as you say, he sits back and he watches, and he is a threat at all times.
Yeah. So as I said, it's unbelievable to think that they've been able to tell one story over 22 films. Yeah. This is crazy. I mean, I remember the best that we ever got was we got one story over Police Academy 6 films. To think that we've got one that's going over 22 films, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I can see how they're comparable.
You can see the link between those 2 film franchises.
I love when Iron Man's like doing all the sound effects through his mask, like. That's hilarious.
I think he might have been the only one to appear in all 6, because I think Steve Guttenberg, he dropped out at 3 or 4 from memory. Really? Yeah.
When you lose Steve Guttenberg, maybe it's time to kind of pack it up.
But when Steve Guttenberg says no, that means that the rest of the films must be pretty shit.
Yeah, exactly right. Although what it means is, I would love it if, like, at the end of some completely unrelated film, like John Wick or something like that, at the end, after the credits, Steve Guttenberg comes in and he's like, I saw all the stuff you did out there. That was great stuff. I'm here to talk to you about the Police Academy initiative.
That would be so cool. That would be so cool. And speaking of Steve Guttenberg, there's a TV show that I watch called Ballers with The Rock, and he was actually in this season. So he is still around, and he still looks pretty good, to be honest.
Oh yeah, was he good in the series?
He was.
Did he play himself?
He plays like this billionaire Vegas tycoon because they want to move an NFL team to Vegas, and they basically have to go through him. So he was quite good in this show. So there is possibly a chance. Maybe we should pitch that to the creators of John Wick.
All right, let's get it done. But think about it: get John Wick, get Taken. What are some other franchises in that vein?
Yeah, well, as I said, there's so many that we can lend him to. Oh, we could put him in a Lethal Weapon franchise. That would be cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah, so we get John McClane, John Wick. I can't remember the guy's name from Taken, and some Dolph Lundgren probably is the bad guy. Although we're kind of heading into the Stallone series territory, but it doesn't matter.
Well, maybe we can put them in like a Hateful Eight scenario where these guys just all come together and they're all stuck in this one place.
Unlike in this.
Yeah, sold.
Trademark TM, nobody else can do it.
$1 billion ideas come out of this show.
Steve Guttenberg, call us.
Too bad we're just too lazy to act on them.
Yeah, exactly right. And the idea is probably terrible, let's be honest. But that's all right.
All right, well, one idea that could possibly be terrible, and but it does have some decent names attached to it, and that's the new Halloween reboot. Were you a fan of the Halloween film?
To be honest, out of all of the those kind of classic horror franchises, that is the one I've seen least. I've probably seen each of them once a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, the first one is a classic. The first one is probably the best one out of them. They've tried to redo this so many times. They tried a couple of years ago. Rob Zombie did a take of it. Wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't that bad either, the first one. The second one was horrible. But John Carpenter is back on board to produce this, and they're actually getting Danny McBride, who's written this or co-written this script with David Gordon Green. It's an interesting pair to tackle this one, but maybe they are big fans. But they are very good at what they do. They did a TV show called excuse me, I'm watching it now, called Vice Principals. That's been really good. And they did another one, and the name escapes me now, but it was about a baseball player, and Danny McBride played the baseball player. So, their credentials are very good. Whether they're any good when they take on a horror series, who knows? But John Carpenter this week spoke about that Jamie Lee Curtis talked to the director, and her part was written into the script, and they had an idea that basically this is just going to pick up straight after the first film. They're going to ignore every other that came before it, and it's just going to be a straight sequel to the first one.
Surely, though, they don't mean like directly after, where we've got like young Jamie Lee Curtis, and then the next film she's very, very old. Well, like years later.
Obviously, there's going to be a time gap, but I believe that after the events of the first one, there'll be a massive gap, and she'll be at the age where she is now. I believe she has a daughter herself.
Okay.
There was a big name attached to play the daughter, actually, and I can't remember it, but I would guess that's where it's going to pick off.
Which is, it's a cool idea.
So who the hell knows what Michael Myers has been doing for the past 40 years between films.
He's going to be chasing them with one of those Walker frames.
That's true. So, as I said, I do like these two. They do good work, but whether that happens with a Halloween franchise, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm interested, which is something saying, as I said before, I wasn't really interested in watching the previous ones again.
But we'll soon find out. Well, there's one film that we've been waiting for a damn long time, and it's had directors come in and out, I think 3 or 4 times now, and that is Channing Tatum's Gambit.
Yeah.
It's a film that 20th Century Fox has been teasing us with. I think it was supposed to come out this year or next year, but that wasn't going to happen because the directors keep dropping off. But now we've finally got February 14th, 2019 is going to be the romantic weekend of Gambit.
Exactly right. And look, I'm sure there'll be a lot of date night. It's a pretty perfect date film, really.
Well, Deadpool came out the same time
yes.
That this one did, and that was huge. So I'm guessing that they're going to try and bank on that same weekend for this film.
Now, I love Channing Tatum. Is he too old now to play Gambit?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I watched him recently in a film called Logan Lucky. And he is looking like, a mid-30s-year-old man compared to, when he did Magic Mike, he could still pass it, in his 20s.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting part of it. But, with what they're doing now with the aging thing and everything else with special effects.
Yeah.
If they do need to tell a backstory, they could probably age him like that, but who knows?
Look, maybe they're going to do Old Man Gambit.
Yeah, possibly. But the latest director who's eyeing the project is Gore Verbinski. He has done some decent films. He did the first two pirate films. He did The Lone Ranger, I think. Gee, come to think of it, he hasn't done a lot of good films. But, he's the one that possibly could be tapped on the soldier for this.
Yeah, I love the idea. There's the rumors being that Daniel Craig might come and play the villain.
Yes.
Mr. Sinister.
Yes, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because I would love to see him in a villainous role. Speaking of Logan Lucky.
Mr. Sinister is a fantastic villain. And that's another one where you could have over a decent story arc. They don't need to have him in just one film and then kill him off by the end of it,
Exactly.
That's a really good... And I would love to see, Mr. Sinister, play in the realm of... Hopefully they're going to team up with Deadpool as well. Have Mr. Sinister, carry over those films too.
Because there's no reason that Sinister couldn't have been behind all of the organization that made Deadpool in that film. Because that's what he's all about, experimenting on mutants.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I think that he could make a great Thanos of that little
correct
MCU.
So hopefully they they don't pull the trigger on him too quickly and they use him over a couple films.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited.
Well, a couple of films that are being made as we speak, and that's the Avatar films. And Giovanni Ribisi is going to be returning for all 4 sequels.
Which, come on, guys, spoilers. That means he's not going to die in any of the movies.
Yeah, well, now that you put it that way, I didn't think of it, so thanks for spoiling it for me again. But I remember we spoke at the top of the show. I couldn't actually remember his character, so
it's a bit like that.
Yeah,
I just always remember him as the character who introduced Unobtainium, that very well named MacGuffin from those films. It's good.
Yeah, no, I really liked Giovanni Ribisi, and he did a TV show this year called Sneaky Pete, and he was fantastic in that. It was part of the Amazon Prime network, and I've liked him from the get-go. I've seen him in so many things, and to have him part of this cast will be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's just a payday for Giovanni, and I think he deserves it.
Yeah, good luck to him. And all right, speaking of paydays, surely these guys will be getting a decent one to come back for this film. And Keanu Reeves this week has come out and given us the title for Bill and Ted Part 3, and it's called Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Which is awesome. I'm super excited for this movie.
I'm not super excited at all. I don't know if you remember. The first one was good. The second one was horrible.
Oh, I like the second one.
I didn't like Bogus.
I thought it had a lot. Look, and let's be honest, I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but I do remember quite enjoying the ride and Death being a hilarious character. And just really took the series in a very different way.
Yeah, it did. And I don't think it was a good way, but I really love the first one. I remember it was huge when it came out when I was, a younger, I can't remember what, maybe late 80s, early 90s might have came out, the first one. And I remember loving it. So, fingers crossed that they can kind of recapture the magic of the first one.
Well, a lot of people are speculating that this film is going to be about, obviously, Bill and Ted now, and realizing they didn't end up creating the utopia that they thought they had.
Yeah.
And then working out what's gone wrong. So, could be some more time travel involved. Could be Death making a comeback. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? All right, well, this next story I knew nothing about and still know nothing about, so I'll let you take the reins on this one, and maybe you can explain it for us.
Well, okay. Sony Pictures have decided that they're going to be making an adaptation of Settlers of Catan.
Now, this worked out really well with the Emoji Movie for Sony Pictures. So.
I love Settlers of Catan. It is a fantastic board game, but there's not a story there. There's nothing. If you haven't played it, it's you should. But it's a resources trading game where you make an island, and then everybody has little settlements on this island, and they trade resources until one person reaches the point limit and has built the longest road and has the biggest standing army. I'm bamboozled about what they could possibly do as far as the story here.
This has got Oscars written all over it.
It's got something written all over it, but I don't know if it's got Oscars. I'd put it in the same vein as the Lego Movie at this stage. You can't just throw properties at a wall, Sony, and expect them to do well. I'm willing to eat my words if this turns out to be a great film, because in all sincerity, it's a blank canvas. They can just write whatever the hell narrative they want it. Some kind of lost civilizations on an island struggling to survive. It could be cool, but I highly doubt it. I'd be more happy if it was a story about people playing the game and the interpersonal relationships between them, and lots of people asking if they've got any wood for sheep, which is a hilarious joke that comes up every time people play Settlers of Catan. Look, good luck to them. I predict disaster.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the most glowing endorsement I've ever heard you give for a movie, but...
I think they should put that on the poster. Good luck to them, I predict disaster.
You're onto a winner here, my friends.
Oh.
Who knows? As I said, maybe it might be good. Probably not. But
you have to admit, the trolley movie would have been a better movie than this.
Possibly,
as a concept.
Yeah. All right, well, last week, I watched Blade Runner 2049. And it's funny, like, I thought, this is going to be a pretty decent film. As soon as the reviews started coming out, then they were quite glowing. I'm like, oh yeah, surely maybe Warner Brothers might have another hit on their hands this year because they've been on a hot streak. But this film is probably going to share the same fate as the original.
Yeah.
It's be a cult movie because it's cost $150 to make, and it's only made $100 million back. So basically, you got to double your box office or your production budget to turn a profit, and this looks like it could be a flop.
I think people forget that a lot of people don't like the original or haven't seen it. Like, the people who know the film love it for the most part, but everyone else doesn't like it. Like, it's one of these films that's really self-contained within the film society.
Yeah. And the fact that it did run for 2 hours and 40 minutes, which, as much as I love the film and I love Denis Villeneuve, this film could have been a hell of a lot shorter, in my opinion. Not that it dragged, but, it had a lot of story in it that probably didn't need to be in it. And that doesn't take anything away from the film itself, nor the visuals. The visuals of this film are beautiful. And it's, if you're a fan of especially the first one, if you're a fan of him, Denis Villeneuve, it's one to watch, but I'm guessing a lot of people will probably wait till it comes out on Blu-ray or digital download to watch this film. I quite liked it. I thought Ryan Gosling was fantastic. Jared Leto was very good. But again, he only had a small role, similar to the Joker role. As I said, this guy is an Academy Award winner. And since he's won the film, he's only been in cameos in 2 other films. So it's quite strange, his legacy coming off that. And Harrison Ford was fantastic. So, the film itself was really good. I really liked it. But, I don't think it's going to be everyone's cup of tea because it is quite deep and it is a bit of a thinker. And if you're not really a fan of the first one, you don't know the story of the first one, this one will probably just go straight over your head. So, watch it if you're a fan of the first one. Watch it if you're a fan of sci-fi or Denis Villeneuve. But other than that, I don't think it's going to reach the mass audience that I was hoping it would.
Yep, no, I'm keen to see it, but not all film has to be made for all people.
Mm. And another film that I watched was Stephen King's Gerard's Game on Netflix. This film was really good. I remember reading about this book a while ago, and the story was pretty good. And then the film itself was actually really good. So they're actually starting to turn the tide now on Stephen King's films. And speaking of which, there was a trailer for his TV show that's coming up, Castle Rock, which basically combines all of his stories into one TV series. And the interesting part of this show is that if you look at the IMDb page, Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in the It film, is listed in 4 episodes of this film, but they won't say what he's doing. So whether he's playing Pennywise, whether they're going to jump from there into the TV show and have him there, or possibly give a backstory to Pennywise in this TV show, I don't know. But Bill Skarsgård is in this film.
I was already excited for this show, but that has made me so much more excited.
Yeah, that could be really cool. If they can start building this universe and have people come back in and out of it, from a cinematic screen to a TV screen, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, doing something that even Marvel has failed to do.
Yes.
Really.
And yeah, well, speaking of Marvel, the Inhumans film TV show has been copping a shellacking of how bad it is. And we said itself when it was announced that this isn't a story that can be really shown on TV with a TV budget. It's a huge story with huge characters, and to lend it to the small screen probably isn't going to do it justice.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
And the bad part is that probably now it probably won't appear on the big screen. Whether they're going to just completely ignore what happened with the TV show and relaunch it, because that would play really well in Phase 4 cosmic world of the Marvel Universe. Whether they're going to let that happen, I don't know.
If they're smart, they will, but yes. We'll see.
But yeah, give Gerard's Game a definitely watch if you got a chance to. It's on Netflix. And if you're quite squeamish, there's this scene that I actually couldn't even watch. It was that horrific to watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was just like, I had to cover my eyes and wait till it was over. That's how bad it was.
All right, cool. That's sold me now.
Yeah. So if you've got a weak stomach, skip that scene, and trust me, you'll know what it is once you see it.
All right.
All right. Well, that wraps up Not Another Movie Podcast. I'm Sean Pierce,
And I am Sean Kelly.
and let your week be a good week until next week.